This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, East Otago residents learn how long they'll have to wait until their water is safe to drink. A Dunedin woman shares her journey on dialysis for World Kidney Day. And a new collaboration is set to bring improved healthcare for New Zealand's native species. Kia ora, I'm Melissa Barton. Drinkable water could still be months away for residents affected by the no drink notice in Waikouaiti, Karatane and Hawkesbury Village. The announcement was made as hundreds of people packed into the East Otago Event Centre last night. To get an update on the issue.
Hundreds of residents from Waikouaiti, Karatane and Hawkesbury Village packed into the East Otago Event Centre last night to learn when their water will be drinkable again. While it may be months until they can drink water from their taps, there was still some relatively good news.
So in summary, some adults and a very small number, 2 children, had blood lead levels above the new thresholds.
The culprit behind some of the water issues has been revealed. Dunedin City Council believes half of the elevated lead levels are likely to be old cast iron pipes with lead fittings near Edinburgh Street, Waikouaiti. But those hoping to turn on the tap may have to wait months.
We're hopeful that within 2 to 3 months, once the pipeline in Edinburgh Street is replaced and once our online monitors are in place and functioning properly, that we should be able to start looking at lifting that do not drink notice.
Other possible sources of contamination are also being considered, including historic landfills near Edinburgh Street and the former Cherry Farm hospital site.
What we found is that we haven't found any background levels of leaching, we haven't found any significant levels of leaching of any metals from that site. And you are correct, the treatment plant is on top of it, but it's unlikely that we're getting any contamination from that source based on our investigation so far.
When asked about the taste and quality of the water supply, Dunedin Mayor Aaron Hawkins says funds were allocated in the next year of the 10-year plan to upgrade the water treatment plant in Waikouaiti. It's now been more than a month since the council issued a no-drink notice for the area. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Almost a third of businesses in the Queenstown CBD do not expect to get through the next 3 months unscathed, a new survey shows. A Queenstown Chamber of Commerce-led survey found the outlook for the town centre appears bleak, particularly for the tourism and hospitality sector. 85% of that industry expects activity and profits to decrease in the next 3 months. While the effects of the tourism downturn were felt most harshly in the tourism and hospitality sector, businesses in Arrowtown and Frankton were more positive about the coming 3 months. Calls from local business leaders and Mayor Jim Bolt for central government support have so far fallen on deaf ears. Today is World Kidney Day, when people around the field of kidney medicine shine a light on what some people experience to stay alive. Many people have dialysis multiple times a week to mechanically replace the function of their failing organs. And a Southern woman shares her journey. And a disclaimer, if you're sensitive to medical procedures, this may be disturbing.
Getting connected to one of Dunedin Public Hospital's kidney dialysis machines after having her arm scanned. Karen Williamson says having plastic tubes in her chest and left arm are less invasive than the previous system. Williamson is philosophical as the DHB team hook her up to a dialysis machine for a 5-hour session.
Yeah, when you're sort of here learning for 8 to 12 weeks, you know, every 3 days a week, you get to know everybody.
Although she admits her attitude hasn't always been rosy.
Yeah, you're talking about it. Yeah, you know, you learn to accept it like we all do, because we all go through a stage of not really wanting to do this, not really wanting to die.
Blair Donkin is the charge nurse manager of the dialysis service and says there are several ways people can monitor kidney health.
Once a year we can have an awareness month and have an awareness day, and there's various events run throughout the entire country where the profile of chronic kidney disease can be raised. But certainly for people over the age of 50 should be getting checked every 5 years, and those with a family history should be getting annual checks, or if they have other risk factors such as diabetes, hypertension.
Karen Williamson is one of a small number of Southerners for whom World Kidney Day is especially significant. The 65-year-old has a positive attitude towards the process and explains how the dialysis machine works.
This here and that here goes on the outside and cleans my blood, right? Takes the fluid out and tries to take the phosphate and all the other stuff that, you know, you can't have. And then it's out down, and you go through like 90 litres of water a day.
Charge nurse Leanne Everett says Williamson is a star patient.
We have a program that's sort of based on about 10 to 12 weeks, and Karen blitzed it in about 9.5 or something. And people take longer, or if they need to, and we just make sure that people get home safely.
World Kidney Day events are being held across the country today to try and highlight the largely invisible disease. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Police are investigating after a sum of money was stolen from a commercial building in Invercargill yesterday. Police say the burglary happened in Leeds Street about 4 a.m. on Wednesday morning. A person or persons broke into the premises and stole a sum of money, including a large amount of coins. Police are asking members of the public who saw anyone acting suspiciously in a vehicle around the area around the alleged burglary time to get in touch. Also, police want to hear from anyone who knew of people trying to cash a large amount of coins. A new collaboration will grant greater access to a vital diagnostic tool for Dunedin's sick and injured native animals. The agreement between Ag Research and the Dunedin Wildlife Hospital will give the hospital use of specialised CT scanners free of charge.
While we are all scanning QR codes, the Dunedin Wildlife Hospital needs to scan native animals. And they've been given extra help by Ag Research, who has given the hospital 5 free CT scans at its Invermay campus. Wildlife Hospital Trust Manager Georgiana White says the scanner will make the work the hospital does so much easier.
It's not something that happens every day, but it does arise a few times a year.
The scanner is very important for species where little is known about their anatomy. White says they've been working with another local provider for CT scans, which charge the hospital about $500 a scan at quite a charitable discount.
It won't take us long to get there. It's completely set up for scanning animals, which the current facility we use is not. It's meant for people. So I think that it will be a really, really nice fit for us. It will make things so much easier.
Ag Research Chief Executive Sue Bidrose says the scanner has a bit of spare capacity, and they were aware of the extraordinary work the Wildlife Hospital does with New Zealand's taonga species.
And so it was a really good opportunity for a partnership, us as part of that wider Dunedin community, and then with the Wildlife Hospital to meet some of their needs.
This scanner now means they don't have to wait to use one after hours, which means less stress on staff and patients. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, Queenstown businesses fear what the coming months may bring, and a Dunedin man is grieving after his beloved pet was shot and killed. So catch this and more after the break.
TV, our favourite babysitter, but it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air, and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Hi, it's Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. Our 3 stores have got a deal for you. We're going hard, we're going early, so we've gone hard on the prices, 50% off, a great selection. Shorts, look at all these shorts. T-shirts, they're all half price. Check out all those tees along there. What about all these ones down here? Also at a great saving, 50% off. We're going hard, we're going early. Polo shirts, short sleeve shirts, there's such a variety.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
It's the Alex Campbell Menswear, go hard, go early, summer sale. Don't miss this one.
Welcome back. A Southern Mayor worries the Dunedin Hospital rebuild may rob neighbouring districts of already limited workforces. Clutha Mayor Brian Cardigan says an absence of a region-wide approach for the $1.4 billion project could end up as a lose-lose for all parties. Cardigan, who sits on the Otago Workforce Development Committee, says he is surprised the project is canvassing for workers in the Clutha area. This is despite the Clutha District Council running its own Job Opportunities job fair in Balclutha on Tuesday night. Cardigan says an uncoordinated approach could end up building a workforce in Dunedin at the expense of neighbouring districts. A Dunedin man is questioning the mentality of the people who shot one of his much-loved Maine Coon cats. Andrew Long says Cheezel the cat survived the shooting for a few days, but succumbed to its injuries this week.
Words fail McAndrew Bay resident Andrew Long after one of his family's much-loved Maine Coon cats was recently shot. Long says the family knew something was wrong when 2-year-old Cheezel came home hours late for dinner.
So he finally showed up between 8:30 and 9 looking pretty ill. So we brought him in and he immediately went to lay down kind of his favourite place, which is in the other room. And we just thought he'd been sick or scared, and we just kind of looked after him a bit. And then it was our son who actually took a closer look with his phone and torch and noticed that there was a wound on his abdomen. And again, we thought maybe we didn't know what it was until we took him to the vet the next day, and the vet said he's been shot.
Long says Cheezel was predominantly his wife's cat and had replaced another Maine Coon who'd passed away a couple of years earlier. He says Cheezel survived for a few days but wasn't looking good, despite their vet and the family's best care and attention.
And he proceeded to get worse the next day, so we took him back to the vet. He had x-rays and surgery. The x-rays couldn't find any pellets, so it was assumed that they were plastic ones rather than metal. And they couldn't tell whether they were still embedded inside Cheezel or not. And they also found a second wound on the other side of the abdomen, so 2 shots, one on each side of his stomach. And then they sort of cut him open to have a look around, and so we've got the wounds look much more brutal in the end. And he stayed overnight with the vet, and then we got him back on Saturday morning. Very, very, not moving very much, not looking very happy, but we had a regime of anti-inflammatories, antibiotics, and we had to syringe feed him. So basically he was not interested in eating. So we did all this. We really wanted him to get better, and then Sunday he just got worse. Made an appointment with the vet, and before we could get him to the vet, he died. He crawled off and died himself. Kind of howling in pain actually. So it was a very painful, horrible last 4 days for kind of one of the sweetest, most gentle, playful cats I've ever seen.
He says Otago Peninsula policeman Aaron Smith has been very helpful and is keen to hear any information the public might have.
Yeah, so he gave us a strategy, like this is the approach that you can take. We've seen it before. He went and looked at Cheezel, took some photos of the wound and so on, and he was horrified. He loves animals by the looks of it, and he's going to come and visit us again sometime soon and work out what happens next.
He has no idea who shot their furry family member and has a plea for that person.
Well, I hope that you are able to reflect on what you've done in this case and the kind of the pain and the hurt that you've caused my family and potentially other families when you might have killed their pets. Also, reflect on what you've done and just stop. Or if you can't stop, get help so you can stop. Something else you might want to do is if you do reflect on what you've done, you can come and see me. You can own up to it. We can have a conversation and go from there.
He says the family buried Cheezel and grieved together. In Dunedin, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, we take a look at the preparations for this year's Wanaka AMP show, and we have the latest weather forecast for the South for you, so see you after the break.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Hi, it's Lindsay here from Alex Campbell Menswear. Our 3 stores have got a deal for you. We're going hard, we're going early, so we've gone hard on the prices, 50% off, a great selection. Shorts, look at all these shorts. T-shirts, they're all half price. Check out all those tees along there. What about all these ones down here? Also at a great saving, 50% off. We're going hard, we're going early. Polo shirts, short sleeve shirts, there's such a variety.
Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
It's the Alex Campbell Menswear, go hard, go early, summer sale. Don't miss this one.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Thanks for staying with us. Preparations for this year's Wanaka AMP show are underway as the event prepares for thousands of punters to start coming through the gates tomorrow. About 40,000 people are expected to attend the Wanaka show over the next 2 days. Trade exhibitors have spent the last week setting up their marquees, while volunteers have been making sure the AMP show grounds were looking spick and span. There were fears the show would have to be cancelled or postponed because of increased COVID alert levels. But the return to level 1 meant the annual event is able to go ahead. This year, organisers have introduced new guidelines and practices and a move towards making it more environmentally sustainable and friendly. And we will have full coverage of this year's Wanaka AMP show in tomorrow night's bulletin and Otago Daily Times. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. Drinkable water could still be months away for East Otago residents. A Dunedin woman shares her journey on dialysis for World Kidney Day, hoping to help others. And a new collaboration will grant greater access to a vital diagnostic tool for Dunedin's sick and injured native wildlife. And now a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT. Welcome Hayden Meikle, what have you got for us?
Good evening Mel. Well, it's been all go today, lots happening as we've seen. Wanaka's the place to be in the next couple of days, isn't it? The Wanaka show about to start. I've never been, but I'm told it's great. It's huge, tens of thousands of people, lots of interesting things to see. And luckily they're at alert level 1, so nice and free. People can wander around and have a lot of fun. So you will have a lot of coverage of that, bit of a preview tomorrow and heaps of coverage in Saturday and Monday's paper.
Great.
Cracking wee story out of Oamaru. Nothing new there, Oamaru has all the best stories, but 3 young fellas who helped find a missing toddler at the weekend. A wee 2-year-old girl went missing. These 3 local lads up and straight into it, went out on the search, and they were the ones who found the wee girl upset but safe. So it's one of those really feel-good stories. Lovely photo from Rebecca Ryan up there in Oamaru, and it's going to make a lot of hearts go "Mwah" tomorrow.
Oh, and they actively went out and looked for her.
They helped out. So really nice story, really nice pic with that too. Graduation this weekend. We've got a graduation. A bunch of people who were supposed to have been graduating once or twice before are going to graduate. So we've got a little bit of a overall look at what's going to be happening this weekend. And in sport, Shannon Saunders has been given the nod as Southern Steel captain. So yes, professional netball season's nearly here again. The Steel have got their first pre-season game tomorrow night. So Shannon's been around quite a long time now. She was Shannon Francois, of course. Now Shannon Saunders, the exceptional mid-quarter, she's going to be captain this year. So had a bit of a chat to her to see how she's feeling ahead of the season, which is exciting. Hopefully the Steel will be looking good.
Feels too soon for that kind of thing.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well into it. And tonight, of course, Crowded House performing in Dunedin, which is very exciting. So we will have a photo from their performance at the Dunedin Town Hall in tomorrow's paper. And on that note, I better be home soon. See what
and
I did
you
there?
can catch all of that. Thank you, Hayden. We did. You can catch all of that in tomorrow's ODT. And now it's time for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the southern view, looking back towards Dunedin from McAndrew Bay. Looking at the situation, mostly fine throughout the weekend as high pressure brings mostly clear skies, cool nights and pleasant daytime temperatures. Starting off at the northwest of the South Island, expect sunny skies and light winds for all up here, with 20 degrees in Greymouth and 19 in Westport. To the northeast of Te Waipounamu, sunny with moderate winds for Blenheim, heading for a high of 19 degrees, while similar but slightly warmer and a few clouds thrown in the mix for Nelson with a high of 21 degrees. Moving to Canterbury, it's sunny with light to moderate winds for this area. Kaikoura, you head for 17 degrees and Christchurch and Ashburton slightly higher with 19 degrees. To the southern towns, light wind and fine weather mostly for everyone here, with 18 degrees for the Catlins, Lumsden, Balclutha and Gore. Winds will tend to be northeasterly for the Catlins. Moving to central Otago, light winds with a fine day for all here, with 19 degrees in Queenstown and Wanaka, and Alexandra reaches 20. Similar in Te Anau with light westerlies and 17 degrees. To the northern towns, light easterlies and fine weather on the coast for Timaru and 18 degrees, and Oamaru has moderate northeasterlies and 16 degrees. It's similar inland with light winds and fine weather, 20 degrees in Twizel and 21 in Amarama. In Dunedin, some cloud tonight with light winds with an overnight low of 5. Mostly fine and sunny tomorrow with scattered cloud and moderate northeasterlies developing, a high of 16 and a low of 8. And it's similar weather on Saturday, sunny but northeasterly winds becoming fresh and gusty, a high of 17 and a low of 9. And in Invercargill, fine and cold tonight with an overnight low of 3 degrees. Seems like winter's starting to creep in here. Mostly fine and sunny tomorrow, mild with light westerly winds, a high of 18 and a low of 6. And it's similar weather on Saturday, but with moderate northwesterlies developing, still a high of 19 and a low of 6. And that's all from the South Today team for this Thursday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening. Ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.